All right, I'm going to talk about the converse of the Pythagorean theorem here in this video. So start out with just the Pythagorean theorem, just review what that is. It says that if a triangle is a right triangle, like this one over here, where this is like our right angle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's not very dark, is it? Darker. A squared, b squared, c squared. Yeah, got it. And where a and b are the legs of the triangle, and c is the hypotenuse. The legs are the two sides that aren't the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side across from the right angle. Okay, so if it's a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We can use that to find the length of the missing side, like in this case, the hypotenuse. So we have 5 squared plus 10 squared equals x squared. 25 plus 100 equals x squared, so 125. We'll take the square root of both sides, and we get square root of 25 is 11.18. So 1 equals x. Alright, so yeah, that's easy enough. We've done that a million times. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Now, converse we know from what we've done before. We know that if the conditional is if P then Q, if our original conditional is if P then Q, then the converse will be if Q then P. This is our converse. Right? Well, Pythagorean theorem says if a triangle is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Converse then is just flip it around. If a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. I'm just drawing triangles because the word takes too long to write. Okay, let's use this. Well, is this triangle a right triangle? It's got one side is 7, one side is 24, one side is 25. One thing we know, and this is important for these kinds of problems, is that if it's a right triangle, the long side is going to be the hypotenuse. So we can set it up like this. 7 squared plus 24 squared equals 25 squared. The question is, does it equal 25 squared? I could put a little question mark over here just to make that clear. That what we're trying to figure out is, does 7 squared plus 24 squared equal 25 squared? If it does, it's a right triangle. If it doesn't, it's not a right triangle. So we've got 7 squared is 49. 24 squared is 576. 25 squared is 625. Okay, and then I'll just do 49 plus 576 to finish off the left-hand side, and I get 625 equals 625. Good. So, yes, it's a right triangle. I'm done. Let's try this one. Why don't you guys pause the video maybe and try this one, and then come back and check it out. Okay, assuming you paused it, did it yourself, we'll just say, well, if this is the right triangle, then 25's got to be the hypotenuse. So I'll have 12 squared plus 16 squared equals 25 squared. So it's 144 plus 256 equals 625. And remember, like, it doesn't actually, we're just asking if it equals, if these are equals. 144 plus 256 is 400. 400 definitely does not equal 625, so no, it is not a right triangle. That's all there is to it. You guys have some practice problems to work on. All you're going to do in these problems is work on the same thing we just did. When you get to the bottom, state if the three sides form a right triangle. Same problem, it just hasn't given you the solution, given you the picture. But again, you know that the longest side is always going to be your C. It's always going to be your hypotenuse. So, all right, go ahead.